Hi, my name is Emily. That's how that's pronounced. And I feel like I should preface this video by saying that I'm not a gymnastics channel and I'm definitely not a sports channel. I'm like a media commentary channel, or I would be if I like ever made videos. I do have some more things coming, including another video actually about like elite gymnastics in the Olympics and propaganda and stuff like that, but I wanted to make a quick little video about the whole Simone Biles situation because I have a lot of thoughts on it as somebody who's been hyper-focusing on this topic for some reason. Okay, so Simone Biles, constantly referred to as the greatest of all time, had a bad vault, which like wasn't even that bad. Like at least she landed on her feet. That would have been bad if she didn't, actually. But it wasn't the vault that she was like expected to do or trying to do or, you know, supposed to do. And it wasn't, you know, up to Olympics level vaulting. It wasn't difficult or high scoring enough for her to get, you know, kind of score you need to get gold. And she wasn't physically injured, but after that, you know, and with something going on with her mental health or something, she said, I can't do this. So first of all, it's important to point out that Simone Biles, she's tough. She's competed with injuries before. One time she competed with broken toes. Another time she competed with a kidney stone and still won. So she's really tough. And she still came to the conclusion that she couldn't. And some people act like she cost her team the gold, but she was worried that if she kept competing, she would have cost them any medal, period. And if she fell on beam or bars or, God forbid, got injured, she could have cost them that silver that they ended up receiving. And she would have gotten a lot of flack and she probably would have felt really bad about that. She even said, I'm not going to lose a medal for this country and for these girls. They worked too hard. It's not worth it, especially when you have three amazing athletes who can step up. And they really did step up. When that happened on the vault, there was almost no way for Team USA to get gold, even if she got the scores that she got in qualifications. And in the moment, you know, as a viewer and as a fan of the USA gymnastics team, I was like, oh no, we're so screwed. This is the end of the world. But like now in hindsight and knowing what happened and hearing her story and seeing the other girls compete, I am so proud of them. And I really hope that they're super proud of themselves too, because they did amazing. So many people evoked Kerri Strug, and I'll talk more about her in my other video and really focus on like the ideology and propaganda, you know, going on there. But I'll give you some context now for those who don't know. She was on the Magnificent Seven in 1996 at those Olympics, part of the US women's artistic gymnastics team, and they were competing in the team event, and she went up to do the vault. And she does her first vault and she hurt her ankle and apparently hurt a snap and tore some ligaments or something like that. And she's limping, but she still has one more vault left. And it turned out that she really didn't need to do this vault because either the girl who followed didn't perform as well, or Bella Caroli, the coach, who we will get to in that other video because oof, there's a lot to talk about there. He didn't do the math right or something, but I'm not sure. But the narrative was that she needed to do this vault for Team USA to win the gold. And it sounds like that wasn't really the case. The US still would have won. So Bella starts telling Kerri that she can do it. And it sounded in this one interview like she wasn't used to getting praise from him, so she really took it personally to heart.
In workouts, Bella's always like, it can be faster, it can be higher, stronger. That's no good, what are you thinking? And so in a competition, when he's really excited and being positive and he's motivating you and telling you how great you are, you're like, yeah, you're right, I can do this and I will do this.
Girl, are you okay? Because that kind of sounds like Stockholm Syndrome, right? Like, So anyway, she goes for it and she lands the vault basically on one foot and the crowd goes wild and it's treated as this amazing patriotic moment and, you know, all of that. But the movie Athlete A that talks about the US gymnastics controversy, mostly with Larry Nassar, points out that, like, she didn't really have much of a choice. She was a young girl very much coerced into doing this vault while injured, because like if she didn't, then she probably would have been treated really poorly, and that's gross. Like that's not a a good thing? Like, it was impressive, but it was extremely risky, and she shouldn't have had to. She didn't have to do it. But I'll get into my thoughts more on that in another video. Long story short, Bella Caroli sounds like the worst. Allegedly. Just did a stream about this topic. Yeah, I don't like him. But I think that Simone stepping aside is such a positive change. Instead of forcing these athletes to compete when they don't want to and don't feel like it's safe, the athletes being able to set these boundaries is such a welcome change. And when you consider everything Simone's been through publicly with USA Gymnastics being abused by a medical professional, this assertion of boundaries is such an important example to people in this culture that believes in winning at all costs. Not to mention that the other girls on the US team did such an amazing job. Jordan had a little fault on her little awesome Spider-Man floor routine, but the bars and beam were incredible, and she was not expecting to do those. I was so proud of her. I really hope she's really proud of herself, because she did amazing. You're doing amazing, sweetie. They put on an amazing show, they did an amazing job, and they should all be super proud. And like, it is a bummer that they couldn't have tapped like Jade or Michaela or, you know, one of the alternates, but that's kind of an issue with having only 4 team members, I feel like. I also don't know if it's Tom Forster's fault so much, but I don't go here. I just hang out every once in a while when a big thing is happening, and I'm like, oh, flippy girls and propaganda. And I think that Simone's approach to the competition is really beautiful and what the Olympics should be about. A reporter asked Suni Lee, who is an amazing gymnast who often comes second to Simone. I might be rooting for her in all around, but there are a lot of really amazing gymnasts from all around the world to root for. But Suni Lee is great and amazing. But a reporter asked her something about one of her competitors, and I really liked what Simone said.
I don't think there's much of a rivalry there. We're still...
It's a friendly competition,
yeah.
I feel like.
I think it just depends on who does better that day, because we do have like the same start value, so yeah.
And you have to support all of your competitors so that you go in with a healthy mind and not trying to compete against each other, because then pinning people against each other, it just gets a little bit harder. So I think if she just focuses on herself and her bar routine, she should be fine, as well as Nina.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Olympics should be a friendly competition. They're cool, flippy girls. Like, this isn't life or death. This shouldn't be treated so seriously. It should be about having fun and seeing what people can do. And like, oh, you can do that flip. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, I can do that flip plus this. What can you do? Like, it should be fun. It's flippin'! And it sucks that there's so much pressure on this one competition, especially because gymnastics does happen every year. It's just that most people only tune in at the Olympics, but it happens every year. What's really beautiful is that they went and congratulated the Russian girls as soon as they won, basically. And they were like hugging them and giving them the thumbs up, and it's a little bit concerning because there's like a deadly virus going around or whatever, but the sportsmanship is so much more beautiful than being forced to act as proxies in a Cold War. Again, the next video. I think we also need to talk about the dehumanization of Simone. And I mean, honestly, I think to some extent, as a fan, I think I've kind of taken a part in that, because, you know, she is amazing at what she does and she's the hashtag GOAT, but most importantly, at the end of the day, she is a person. And she should have the freedom and agency of any person. But I think that because she can do these amazing things, it's so easy to think of her as a superhuman or, you know, a Powerpuff Girl or something. But that's not fair. It's unfair to act like she's always going to be a perfect gymnast and she's always going to do everything perfectly and she's totally got this in the bag and she's going to carry Team USA to the gold. She shouldn't have had that pressure on her. And like, yes, she did embrace the GOAT thing, but only after others put it on her. And she is the greatest of all time. And having an off day that just happens to be during the Olympics doesn't change the fact that isn't she the most decorated gymnast when it comes to worlds and all of that? But she can still have an off day, and we should respect that. And then I think her celebrity aspect also adds to this kind of almost dehumanization that I'm talking about. There was so much pressure, and like I said, it's gymnastics, it's flipping, it's awesome, and like, I don't say that to downplay the amazing feats they do, but it isn't life or death. It should be a fun thing. It sounds like with all of these expectations on her, it wasn't fun. And like it was her duty or something. And it shouldn't be. And like, I'm not the most qualified person to talk about race, as you can, you know, probably tell. But we as a culture, we expect so much from Black women, and we expect them to be very strong. And doctors, many white doctors won't take their pain seriously and believe that they feel less pain. And there often seems to be this demand that Black women be super strong and often perform in certain ways. And it's like, let them live. That's my take on racism. Stop, just let people live. Racism over, guys. I think that Imani Barbarin, a Black disabled accessibility advocate, who you should absolutely follow on Twitter and TikTok, I think that she said it really well with this tweet. Watch how, as a Black girl, Simone Biles' accessibility needs are disrespected once she takes it upon herself to make sure they're met. And, like, yeah, I don't have super valuable insight on this, but I've seen multiple times Black women are often denied accessibility measures that they need, and it's great to see Simone assert these needs and be open about her mental health. There's also this good article by Shalise Manza-Young about how Simone and Black women often have to carry too heavy a burden, where she also points out she's essentially keeping USA Gymnastics as an organization from completely and rightfully sinking under the weight of its own disgusting malpractice in allowing Dr. Larry Nassar to treat its athletes and the Karolis to coach them for years, even as complaint after complaint was made. Which is a fantastic point, especially because in part she said that part of her inspiration for going to this Olympics was to make sure that USA Gymnastics did not forget about that and did something and tried to make the culture better. And in that process, that means that this trauma that she's been through has been talked about constantly and broadcast to so many people, and she's being asked about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's been really hard for her. I think that when it comes to any job, including gymnastics, that people should be allowed to say, I would prefer not to. Oh, I have boobs, so, but her body, her choice. And we have zero idea of what was going on with her brain, her body, her relationships, etc. I really don't think that she did this on a whim, but honestly, like, she could even just be like, I don't feel like it, and we would have to respect that to some level because she doesn't owe us anything. And some people were saying she owes her team, but again, I really don't think that she meant to like abandon them. I think that she truly thought that she could mess up more and cost them their medals that they were working so hard to get. And I think she just didn't want to do that to them. And she knew they were amazing gymnasts, and they are, and they won silver. It's not gold, but that's fantastic. When you're told you're gonna get gold and then you don't, like, then it sucks. But if you just get silver, that's really good. And I kind of hope that the media, especially like Nastia Lukin and Tim Daggett, kind of get that they really sold this narrative of like, it's in the bag, Simone's gonna carry them. And I mean, honestly, like I gave into that as a viewer, as a fan. When the Russian coach said the thing about like, without Simone, we would win, I was like, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, that kind of is what happened. But those Russian girls, they gave them a really hard competition, and they did an amazing job, and their choreography is so cute on floor, I have to say. It's so cute. I don't know about like anybody else though. I had it on Apparatus View, like where you can watch all of it. I was not paying attention to anybody but the US and Russia, because that was, oh man. I guess Great Britain got bronze. Like, congrats, you know, chaps. I really just want Simone Biles to be happy. I just want all of the girls to be happy. And Simone, she should just be able to do whatever she wants. Like, if she wants to continue, awesome. It would be really cool if she could get that Yurchenko double pike named after her. But she doesn't owe me that, and she doesn't owe you that. She doesn't owe anybody that. It sounds like she isn't going to do it this time because she pulled out of all around and said she wasn't going to do it for, you know, the vault competition if she does the vault competition. But regardless of whether or not that vault gets named after her, first of all, she already has like a bunch of moves named after her. Second of all, her health and her agency are way more important than the name of a vault. And we'll always know that she was the first to really pull it off, even if not in competition. I do think that she'd be like an amazing coach one day if she wants to. Or if she just wants nothing to do with gymnastics, I mean, that's like totally her right. That's fine too. I just hope that like she can enjoy her life and live it to the fullest. And if that means still competing in gymnastics, awesome. If that means becoming a coach or something, great. If that means doing something completely different and never thinking about gymnastics ever again, awesome. Because that's not up for me or you or anybody else to dictate. So what do you think? Comment below, but don't be a jerk like Charlie Kirk. it rhymes because it's true. Again, I'm not a gymnastics or a sports channel, but I do have a little gymnastics and propaganda video I want to work on. So I mean, subscribe, I guess, if you want to see that and more videos about like media and society. I have a Batman and politics video actually I'm working on, but it kind of went on the back burner because suddenly the Olympics was happening and I was like, oh, I should work on that video and be topical for once in my life. I also stream on Twitch. I actually just streamed, we watched some of the Caroli propaganda. It was something. One of them was voiced by Kristen Bell. That Kristen Bell. You know, the landlord, an actress, I guess. I also have a podcast now. What? I'm a podcaster? Of course I am. It's called Art TM ? It's with the amazing and awesome Luxon Wei, who you should also subscribe to. It's about art. I'll put a link to that below. I'll put a link to my Twitch. You know where links are. You know where links go. So the moral of the story is put your health first and have an awesome day.